Hello world. It's Monday the 25th of January and we're looking at a soaring weather forecast for Worcester for tomorrow, Tuesday the 26th January 2021. We'll start off with the T5 for Worcester, and we can see that we're sitting with convection layer up to about nearly 6,000 feet. Wind coming from the southeast at close on 10 knots. A maximum temperature of about 29 degrees. Moving on to 5 o'clock, we see that we've actually got some cloud coming in at over 6,000 feet. Convection is still there, the wind is still there, and it's picked up slightly, maybe 12 to 15 knots, still from the southeast. Let's have a look at that cloud. 2 o'clock. And zooming out, we can see that it's already on the Langeberg at Swellendam, and it looks to be about between 3,000 and 4,000 feet along that ridge. And if I go out to 5 o'clock, I can see that it's dropped at Swellendam to maybe between 2,500 and 3,500 feet at various points along that ridge, and it's pushed in quite low to Ashton and well on its way towards Robertson. Zooming in at Worcester at 5 o'clock to see what it's doing locally, we can see that little bit of cloud in the Breda River Valley. Robertson is sitting 3,500, maybe 4,000. Looking at the wind, our nice southeast wind is blowing up the Breda Valley. It's onshore onto the Langeberg, windward onto the Langeberg, along most of the Langeberg, and then it goes round the corner, and it's still windward onto the Witzenberg. And it's coming round from the south and blowing southwest onto the Front Ridge and the Porterville Ridge. So we got some nice looking wind directions for tomorrow. Zooming out a bit, we can see that it works all the way up to Claver, and the Renoster Hook Ridge will also be facing that southwest flow. On towards 5 o'clock, much the same, it's picking up in strength and becoming slightly more southerly along the Front Ridge. We can see, if we zoom in, that towards Porterville it gets quite southerly. I'll just point out that this diagram is of the surface wind, and it shows a southwesterly flow straight across the Front Ridge, across the Tulbach Valley and onto the Witzenberg. More on that just now. And if we look at the next sections, looking at some individual T5s to get an idea which way we can go. That's Robertson at 2 o'clock, looking quite good. At 5 o'clock, that cloud moves in. It's about 4,000 feet, slightly below it, but still convection. Swellendam starts off with cloud at 4,000 feet and drops to 3,000 feet or a bit less by 5 o'clock. Porterville looking quite nice at 2 o'clock, but this wind is quite southerly. And by 5 o'clock, it's even more southerly, and a little bit of a wind shear as you get to the top of the ridge height. Still convective though. Looking at Tulbach at 2 o'clock, the wind is quite southerly, but there's good convection, and it goes up to 5,500 feet. Not so strong, but enough. But at 5 o'clock, there's something a bit weird happening here at Tulbach. This has gone all pear-shaped. We can see the wind at ground level is still southwest, but above it, there's a southeast component coming in, and it's killing off the convection. So let's just try and see what's happening there. This is the 850 millibar level, and this is a vertical cross section at the 850 millibar level, showing the lift and the sink and the wind, these wind barbs. And we can see that the wind is actually blowing straight round the Breda River Valley, right through the Tulbagh Valley, and out over the front plains, all at about 15 knots. This is at the 850 millibar level. And the same chart is showing us that there's quite a lot of sink around Sarenburg, and it's a bit weak on the Witzenberg over here. So this could be quite interesting. So if I were coming home late in the evening, I would be looking at getting as high as possible on this corner, ducking around onto that corner, getting as high as possible, pushing down the Witzenberg, and then making perhaps a beat or two to get up to the top of the ridge over here before pushing around onto Mostodtshoek, and hopefully then getting enough height to get home. But the other ways of doing it, and that might not be necessary. Just looking at the boundary layer convergence, also at 5 o'clock in the evening, it shows that the Witzenberg is still working. So perhaps it'll be a straight flight home. And if it all goes pear-shaped, well, there's a very nice airfield at Tulbagh over here, and another little one at the top of the valley. Looking at Worcester at 11 o'clock, we can see that it's already thermic up to 4,000 feet. So you probably want to get up a bit early and get ballasted up and full of water and onto the scales as early as you can, because I think an early launch will be in everybody's interests. Remember, if you go to the east, you probably want to be west again of Robertson by 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and if you go to the north, the wind will turn to the south and become quite southerly in the late afternoon, so getting back down the ridge will be a bit slow, and that jump at onto the Witzenberg from the front ridge might have a few interesting challenges. Let's look at Wednesday and Thursday while we're here, just quickly. Wednesday is showing a lot of moisture at 2 o'clock and a lot of cloud. I'll look at a pedestrian forecast to see if it's going to rain. And Thursday looks like a convection, wind direction, but the wind speed is a bit low, but there could be the makings of some more magic over there. For those who flew today, I hope you had a good flight. It looks like everybody got round and got some reasonable flying done. And tomorrow, fly safely and have fun. Talk to you again.